Hey there, seekers of spiritual, tangible results.
Welcome to the No Nonsense Zone, where common sense meets the spiritual. I'm Jason Parks.
I'm Emma Romano, your unapologetically real spiritual guides.
We don't sugarcoat, we don't dance around the woo-woo, we just deliver the raw, kick-ass truth.
Join us each episode as we dive deep into the mystical, cut through the bullshit, and show you how to manifest the tangible results you've been craving for.
No fluff, no filters, just two mentors on a mission to elevate your mind, body and soul.
Get ready to transform your life like never before. This is Soul Aligned Results, where spirituality meets the real world. Welcome! This is Soul Aligned Results with Emma Romano and
Jason Parks.
Woo-hoo. Jason's got a good one today for everybody. This is going to blow some socks off. This is a really good one. Okay, go ahead, Jason. Explain to everybody what we're talking about today.
Okay, so I did a masterclass last night on about entity clearing, and there was we covered a lot of stuff in depth, and it was great. It was a great turn up, great masterclass. People were fantastic. Questions were great. But one of the questions that came out after the event was really good, and it was this person had recognized about initiation. So what I mean by initiation is, say, for example, you want to learn Reiki, so you go and you have the Reiju, you have the Reiki attunements, and that person brings energy through your system and channels energy through your system in order to open up the energy centers in your body. Mm-hmm. Or maybe a person, you go and they do some Kundalini work and they do that, or they do any one of a million different kinds of processes where they put energy through your system. Mm-hmm. And that's part of an initiation. This person had identified that the person that had given them these initiations had a particular issue that they always used. They never had any money, or not exactly correct. They always had just enough money. So God always gives me what I need, and sometimes a little more, is what this person used to say all the time. The person who asked the question said, wait a minute, that's not, I have that going on and I don't want it. So is it possible that when I receive an initiation from somebody, that I'm actually picking up all of the things that are in their energetic field?
Yep.
And I thought that was a hell of a question.
I think it's a great question.
Yeah, brilliant question. Yeah. So we'll give the short answer. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
you do.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you get an STI, you get a spiritually transmitted infection. That's the problem. So you have to be very careful about who you allow to muck around in your energetic field. Mm-hmm. It's the reason for it. There's a number of reasons, but at the foundation of it is all about agreement. And yeah, so to understand what an agreement is in its simplest form is, if I'm existing in a bandwidth, and that bandwidth has within it a whole heap of reality that aligns. So I used to see that a lot with when I used to work in the homelessness sector. There are a whole heap of things that happen so predictably that you could almost use them as a diagnostic tool about homelessness. So if a person moves into homelessness, they've got a short amount of time whilst they still remember their non-homeless existence in most cases. And they have a lot of opportunity in that time. But when they move past a certain point, their energy has dropped into a certain range and they start to identify very heavily with everything there. So before you know it, what you have is people often start surrounding themselves with the worst possible company, parasitic people. They start trying to self-medicate. So people that have never used drugs before, suddenly they're really, really into dope. Suddenly they're drinking, their diet goes out, their hygiene goes out. They start pushing away opportunities. They stop thinking about how they can move beyond this point, and they start thinking about how they can survive in this point. And that's getting into agreement with a particular energy, particular frequency. It is exactly what happens when you start to lift. When you lift your frequency, you move into a range where, for example, you've got things like expanded view of the world, greater healing, more prosperity, better relationships,
Mhm.
better class of people. I say that better class, better ethically class people hanging around you. He said you start to bring in stuff from everywhere, and it's not because you're clever in what you've done, it's that you're simply where it lives. It lives in that frequency. Yeah. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm gonna help. This is what I'm gonna say about it, right? So I've signed up to, I've done like 1,000 courses, right? 1,000 courses. And it's true because it's kind of like working with angels. You're not just saying, "Hey, Archangel Michael, come in and protect me." You're also agreement, and you're in agreement with everything that Archangel Michael has. You can't just choose the bits and pieces. So, for example, for those who don't know, like angels don't have sex, they don't receive anything, they don't eat, they don't need money. So, if you're asking the angels to help you with money, they cannot. They don't know what it is. It's like asking a fish to help you climb a tree. So when we sign up the thing, I have, I've been burnt many times by people in this industry of claiming they're going to teach me something, whatever. But I look back and I go, they have taught me and shared with me in their capacity. But they also haven't had their shit together in the background. Like they'll sit there and go, "Emma, I'm going to help you with your business," but they're snorting cocaine on a weekend. And so what I'm doing is when I'm in agreement with them helping me, I'm also pulling that shit in. And I'm not saying that I'm snorting coke on a weekend, not by a long shot, but it means some of their ethics is leaking in. There's an agreement to this. I'm not enoughness, or I have to be in oblivion, or in an entitlement or something, and it leaks in. So I think this is super important for people to understand this.
Absolutely. So it is a package deal.
It really is. It's kind of like saying, I'm a mum, I've got 5 kids, you want to date me? But you're like, yeah, look, I only like those 2 kids, I don't like the other 3 kids. And imagine the mother go, "Oh, that's okay, we'll get rid of those other 3." It doesn't happen. It's a package deal. And then, yeah, it's like we've got to be careful of what we're signing up to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important. I think like there's different kinds of wealth. If we
Mhm,
just look at abundance as an issue, there's
mhm,
different kinds of wealth, and people have a different focus. Some people are, and it's because it's seasonal. So
mm,
it's happening simultaneously, but for the most part, it's seasonal. So there are times in your life when you are really in that flow of money. You are really bringing in that financial wealth. And then there's other times in your life where you're really creating wealth within your family relationships
mhm.
and really creating it within your health and creating it in your own inner work and so forth. And these seasons roll around very frequently. Where it becomes a problem, I suppose, when you're looking at something like, do I want to work with this person? You have to look at their package deal. So
Mm.
their package deal, you might have a person who's making an absolute fortune, and you look at that and you go, yep, they're making millions and millions every year. Said, I want to work with them. Said, but their relationships, their health, their every other aspect of their life might be a disaster. That's
Mm.
going to be part of the package that you pull in. You might make a little bit more money, but you'll get a whole heap of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's most people don't really succeed because of their agreements. They succeed in spite of. They keep pushing against them. And
Yeah.
yeah, but it's not genuine success. Genuine success is about a flow, and that flow is in alignment, and that means that you are completely in that range. You are in the range where that level of happiness and abundance and fulfillment lives. And to do that, that's all about ethics because you have to act accordingly. You've got to think and do and feel and speak, and everything that you do has to be in alignment with that.
You know, I was mentoring myself this morning, the business group, and I was asking you, why do you want a successful business? And it was amazing. Probably 9 out of the 10 of them said, I want money, I want money, I want money. I went, yeah, but what do you want to do with the money?
Mm,
What do you want the money for? And they're like, oh, to be successful. I'm like, money is just a frequency, it's just an energy. And I used to do the same. I used to sit there and go, I want $1 million. I want this, I want that. It's not what the $1 million, it's not the money you want. It's what it's allowing you or offering you. That's the part that people need to focus on and manifest. And I went one deeper, and I don't even know why I'm sharing this right now, but I feel a really deep calling to do it. So I went from money to I want to, travel and have experiences. And then, well, but what's beyond that? What do I
mm,
really want? Because that too is, yeah, that's great, but that too is just a thing as well.
exactly
And
right.
really what it was a state of mind. If we can manifest a state of mind, as in, I didn't want to go to bed worrying every night about my day or tomorrow. I
Yeah.
didn't, I didn't, if the dog's sick, I just want to go, yeah, I can just take it to the vet. If my kids say, oh, let's go to the movies, I'm like, yep, let's do it. Because really what I'm wanting is connection.
Mm.
I want to feel connected with my kids. I want to feel good about doing things. And I think that's where it really goes. And this is where maybe I'm coming around, as I'm trying to figure out why I'm sharing this. And I think it's this. I have in the past been very attracted to coaches and things that promise me the money.
Yeah.
And I've received the money. I got a lot of money, but I also had a lot of heartache when I was with these coaches or with these things. I got ripped off, or there was something was out of alignment. Like, as you know, one of the coaches I spent $40,000 on, and within 4 months, sexually assaulted me publicly.
Yes.
But I made a shit ton of money.
Mm.
But what did I get with it? Ethics that were completely out of aligned, and my values of everything. So this is huge. So Jason, what are you saying? Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If we know what the people are like, so say I'm signing up to Bob, and Bob's a millionaire, and Bob's like really, really good with his kids, but like I've got a really shit relationship with his wife, and I sign up to Bob, can I have enough discernment to say I don't agree with that part, but I agree with the others, or is it just a package deal?
You can, it's a great question. You
Oh,
can work,
makes you feel
you can work with it.
yeah.
You can work with it. So it's really important to, discernment is the key.
Yes.
Is that because it's there's an older book called The Richest Man in Babylon,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a great metaphor in it, and it's about a guy who tries to invest. So he talks to a bricklayer who's going to talk to the Phoenicians, and they're going to buy some jewels, and they're going to come back and make a profit. So he invests his money with this brickmaker. The brickmaker goes, but gets ripped off. He gets sold worthless stones. And the moral of the story is, it's like you buy bricks from a brickmaker and you buy jewels from a jeweler, you know, and that's discernment. So one of the big things that we all get caught up in now, and you see it everywhere, it's the assumption that if someone is good at something, they must be good at everything.
Yes.
And I think we've talked about this before.
We've done a podcast on it.
Yeah. So it's a really important point, because what you're doing is you're handing over all of your discernment, and you're
Mm.
going, and often it's greed is what does it. It's greed. So people are like, okay, if I've paid money to go and study with this person, then I want them to solve all of my problems.
Yeah.
I worked in a gym years ago, and it used to fascinate me how many people would, and actually at one time I said it. So I'll just tell you what I said. So
Yeah.
this person was going on and on and on and on and on. And at the end of it, I'd had enough. And I just said, look, I said, you're talking about you're sick of your fat ass. The problem with your fat ass is that you have invested maybe 60 grand into building that fat ass. and you are whinging about investing $40 to try and get rid of it.
Oh, I love that.
And we all have our own version of it. We all have our own version. So that's one of the big discernment problems that we get, is that we want something for nothing. And that's not energetic exchange. You don't get something for nothing. At the bare minimum, you have to give some sort of reciprocation in order for it to ground, in order for that energy to land. But the real cost of it is you have to give up all the inadequacies that hold you back from the energy of what you want. That's what it really costs.
Also, I feel when people are signing up to something, find out where your frequency is at the time.
Very important.
I was thinking about this the other day. The best courses I've ever done and the best mentors I've ever had, it's actually when I'm in a really good space. And it's the ones that I'm desperate. You know, I'm like, I'm scared. I don't know if I can do this again. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm like, it's then I'll sign up to someone and they're all the razzle dazzle and I'll be in love with them and they're all fabulous within months, because it doesn't take me very long to get out of a low frequency place. Within, like, it could be even weeks, I'm sitting there going, oh shit, what have I done?
Yeah, that's right. And that's the frequency thing.
And this is my little 2 bobs worth. If people want to know, well, how do I do that? My suggestion is this: if you're looking for somebody or you're looking for something to get you out of the shit, have a few sessions with a therapist or a healer first. Get yourself out of the shit, then go and look.
Yeah, completely.
You know, and I did a bit of a rant on Facebook about this, about getting out of the shit. And I did.
And you may have done a podcast episode about it.
I did do a podcast episode about it, and I'm going to do another number about it. Don't just be looking to get out of the shit.
Yeah.
Get yourself out of the shit. Get yourself in a really good space. Then find your mentor for the year or for the 6 months, because this is the thing. People say to me, "Oh, I don't need anything. I'm in a good place." I'm like, don't you want to be in an amazing place? Because I mean, I'm sitting here with my mentor. Jason is my mentor. And every Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, Jason and I have an hour session. And people say to me, Emma, like, why? Because when I'm in a good space, in a really fucking great space, I then even get better. So even when I'm at my greatest moment, I go, wow, it can be better. So, and it's completely different to where I was years ago when I didn't even know if I could walk in 2004. I didn't even know if I would be able to drive a car again in 2014. For those who don't know, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2014, and I couldn't work, I couldn't walk, I couldn't drive a car. I was blind in my left eye. My body was numb. It was really bad. So back in 2014, all I wanted to do was not have MS. Now, not having MS is not even a thought. Now I want to go to England for a month. I want to go to Japan. I want to run this retreat, have this amount of fun, go to this concert, learn to sing, do that, do this, go to the gym. Now it's completely different. It's all about, instead of coming away from pain, it's towards more thriving.
Yeah.
That's my top tip for everybody anyway. So
I want to pull that one apart for a minute, just for a sec, because what you just said then is so important. Is that we start the journey running away from something,
yes.
Moving away from something.
Yes.
But there is a point where that turns and we're moving towards something else. The faster we can get to that point, the better. Because moving away is slow and hard, and that's where you burn a lot of fuel trying to get traction. But the moment you turn and you're looking the other way, so that's when the flow starts.
And you know, there's a corner, like I was coming away, and then when it wasn't MS, I was coming away from being broke. That it was coming away from a bad relationship. I was always coming away from. And then I made this very clear decision. I was like, what if I stopped coming away from and made a decision to go towards something instead? And that was a process, because really what came up for me was a lot of fear. Because what if I'm going towards something and I don't succeed at it?
Mm.
And that terrified me.
Yeah.
And then that's another thing that you take yourself through, another process that you take yourself through. But when you're going into, I'm heading towards thriving instead of coming away from surviving, your whole world changes and it becomes normal.
Yeah. It's a massive thing. And it's understanding as part of that process that there is there's the problem with the post. So
Mm,
when you're in a lower vibration, you mail stuff into your future. You make decisions that manifest, and then because you're in a lower frequency, it's slower. And what happens is for most people is that they get to a point, they take off. So their frequency lifts and they're like, oh my God, everything's going great. And then a week later, they get slammed and they're like, oh, it's all a failure, and they stop. So,
yeah.
but all it is the shit post from 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. I always
Yeah.
say it's 3 months. I don't know why. I like, there's no science behind. I just say 3 months. I always go, what am I doing today to make sure 3 months away from the day is awesome?
Yeah.
I
That's right.
do. I
Yeah.
always think it's 3 months. And it is, it's true. There's also that. Plus, you'll get tested 5 times from universe to go, you're really serious about this? Are you really stepping into this greatness, or are you just fucking about?
Hmm. Yeah, that's another aspect.
Yeah,
But that's usually yourself doing that to yourself.
always.
Yeah. So it's fascinating. It's a really big one. So when you look at things like initiations and we say, okay, if I go and get an initiation from this person and I don't like what they're going on, but I want to learn what they have. We've all done that.
Haven't we?
Don't you pay a lot for that?
Uh,
So yes, my advice is if it's not giving you what you want, then you need to keep looking. So just because something's turned up, so this is part of that testing. The universe is like, is this what you want? If you go, no, 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 I need a cleaner. Okay, what about this? Well, no, not quite. I need a not so broke. Okay, what about this? Yeah, I want someone that's not cruel. Okay, cool. What about this? Oh, perfect. That's what I want. So it's the contrast. It provides contrast because knowing what you don't want makes it a lot easier to know what you do. And you have to invest in that. You have to invest in what do I want?
so
It's super
true.
important.
It is important. It really is. It is 100%, because if we're going to focus towards what we want, we'll get it. If we focus towards what we don't want, we'll get it.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard. That's why people stay in the shit for so long, because they're just focusing on don't be in the shit, don't be in the shit, don't be in the shit, don't be in the shit. And
Yeah.
that's in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And that's not saying that we don't have problems. It's just better quality problems.
Yeah. And,
I
and
won't have the problem ever again since 2014 about being in a wheelchair.
that's right. That's not your problem. Your
But I
problem
will have
is
a problem that my son will not clean his motherfucking room, right?
that's right. Yeah. But your physical problems now are like the level of Pilates that you're doing, the
Yes.
level of training at the gym that you're doing, the
Yeah.
how much travel you're doing.
Yeah. How many
Yeah.
stuff.
So that's it. It's the direct correlation. It's magnificent.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Completely different. Is there anything else you want to have a chat about on this little topic, Jason?
No, I think discernment's the key.
Mm-hmm.
And at the start of discernment, you really don't know what you want unless you've taken the time to consider it. It's
Mm.
really important. And actually, I'm going to talk about that in the next podcast
Yes.
because it's a bigger subject than it appears.
Yeah, yes. Okay. All right. This is exciting. Everyone, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We don't get paid for this or anything. This is just a service. We just love you guys. We want the world to be better. This is our part that we're playing in that. We are soulalignedresults.com.au. Is there an AU on the back, on the end of it?
I never remember .com.
I don't freaking
It's
know.
just .com.
.com, thanks. Solarlineresults.com. This is why there's two of us. Solarlineresults.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're Spotify, we're all the places. Please private message us, email us, do what you gotta do, contact us, and let us know what you want us to talk to you about. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.